Hello and welcome to the Global Innovators in Business series. In this series, we interview leaders and innovators from different fields to share their experiences and advice with undergraduate students to provide inspiration and motivation.
Our guest today is Basil, the general partner at Nclude, a venture capitalist fund and fintech innovation engine with a core focus on the Middle East and North Africa. Could you share a small background on what's led you here?
It's a little bit of serendipity. It never is a perfectly straight line, and I feel very fortunate and lucky to be doing what I'm doing. It all started that when I graduated from the American University in Cairo in mechanical engineering, I knew I didn't want to be an engineer, and I was looking to go international. And I got fortunate enough to join Reuters, which is a news agency to most people, but it's also a business of information and technology. And they had set up a venture capital arm out of London called the Greenhouse Fund. Now, if I could tell you I really knew what I was joining, I'd be kidding, right? I didn't know. Back in 1997, 98, venture capital was not as common a word as it is today. And as a young analyst, my job was to read these business plans, assess whether they're worthy of investment, and then write memos and send them to the investment committee. It opened my eyes to a whole new world. I went to HBS for a couple of years. I did my MBA, and I returned to Reuters, but in an operating role. So I ran businesses across Europe, the Middle East and Africa, emerging markets. And eventually I was running a business out of Washington, D.C. In 2016, I came back, and the combination of having done VC early in my career set me up to what I was about to do next, which is figure out the best investments to make in the Middle East and really start to support the tech ecosystem here as it develops and grows.
In your experience helping to build companies, what was one of the most interesting and one of the most fascinating experiences?
I like to tell this story because it's very different to where I'm focused today. So as I said, I talk a lot about fintech and health tech, but there was a founder that a call was set up for me to meet this founder, and I had read about his business before the call. And even before the call started, I had already made up my mind I was going to turn down this business. I had never met, had built a business around shout-outs. So these are platforms where you can buy shout-outs for your friends from celebrities. I'm thinking, who needs this? This can't be a problem that you need to solve, right? So leave it for another investor. We had a 30-minute call, and I think within 15, 20 minutes, I had made up my mind that I would invest in this company. And I say that because he's a fantastic entrepreneur who opened my eyes to the world of entertainment, and not something I had really thought about. Now, how many of us can afford a Taylor Swift concert ticket? Not many. And what he was looking to solve with Minnie wasn't to do shout-outs, was to how to bring entertainment to the masses and making it low cost and effective and accessible so that people could buy literally $1 ticket and join these events from their mobile phones and again, be able to access entertainment. So does it solve a real problem? I'd probably argue it still doesn't. But is it a clever way to solve a fundamentally important issue in society, which is everybody should be able to have fun, enjoy themselves?
What makes you wake up in the morning and be proud that you're doing this role?
That's a tough question because there's so many things that make me proud, right? I mean, VC gets painted sometimes with a picture of a little bit of that it's all rosy and we're raising money and these companies are growing. And yet in the background, what people don't see are the tough time that founders go through, the unsuccessful companies, and some of the challenges that happen in the background. And so before I answer your question, we have to give kudos and recognition to those entrepreneurs who've tried and did not succeed. Because what actually they're doing is paving the way for others to come after them and learn from that and avoid those mistakes and do better the next time and the second time. And so obviously I wake up in the morning wishing for success, very excited about the founders who are doing well and supporting them with their journey. Those are the things that excite me, and being able to build friendships and relationships with these founders on a very human level. I would consider some of them close friends because over time you go through so many challenges together. Difficulties of fundraising, difficulties of employees. Yes, we all wish for success, but you have to be very, very respectful of those who came ahead of us and paved the way to that success.
If there's any advice you have for younger students, what would it be?
I have a 21-year-old daughter who's also looking at the beginning of her career and thinking about what she wants to do. And I'm always lost for words to be on terms of giving her advice, because I think she has so many opportunities and options in front of her, which is great. But the reality is the virtual world that we've been living in has also made me realize that there's this new generation that hasn't touched reality as much as it should. Playing outside and interacting with others through means of face-to-face has really declined over this last generation in a way that I don't personally think is healthy. And I know this makes me sound old and dusty, I guess, as a human being, but the first piece of advice I would say is get into the real world and get on the ground in the way that you feel your life may be. It doesn't matter what you do. So if you want to be an impact investor, travel to the neighborhoods and societies that you think you can play a role in and become part of it and understand the challenges people face before you think that by doing a little bit of ChatGPT and whatever it is, you have the answers to the world. You need to see what reality is, not an algorithm that spits out. So my advice is get any experience you can.